This is the new 2025 Asus Vivobook S14. It's a 14-inch Ultrabook that promises amazing battery life for a competitive price. In this review, I'll be testing the ins and outs of this baby in full detail, so let's get right into it. And please like and subscribe if you like these type of videos. This laptop's got quite a sleek, professional-looking design, which many people will appreciate. But unlike other regular laptops, it isn't too boring and does have the option for some flash. It's got a metal body and top, which makes it feel very sturdy and probably means it can take a drop or two. But that metal body didn't sacrifice its portability, weighing in at just 1.3 kilograms and only being 13.9 millimeters thick. This little guy will easily fit in any bag and it won't be a hassle to carry around all day. And its display also goes back a full 180 degrees. So it'll have a better chance at surviving if your mom sits on it. A better chance at surviving. I still wouldn't recommend doing that, but none of that matters if the laptop is slow as hell, right? Well, this puppy comes with Intel's new Ultra 200 chips, which have been very interesting so far. This is the cheapest version of this laptop with the Ultra 5 226V, which I haven't seen anyone cover yet. So here I am. It's also available with the Ultra 7 258V and 32GB of RAM, which is a very nice option if you need that little bit more power. Let me be clear though, this is not a gaming laptop, so don't expect that kind of performance. Intel has improved their iGPUs by a lot these couple of years, but I still wouldn't expect too much from it. What is pretty cool though is that you can choose how much of the laptop's RAM gets allocated to the iGPU. That's a very cool option to have and pretty handy for some people. This laptop has a very good port selection for its price and form factor. 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports and a micro SD card is simply great. See, thin and light laptops can have a good port selection, Apple. But I do wish one of the Thunderbolt ports were on the other side, so it could charge on both sides of the laptop. Speak of the devil, its charger is absolutely tiny. At just 65 watts, this USB-C charger is very small. It doesn't need a power brick, so it's nice and portable. And other USB-C chargers work as well, of course, so it's very versatile. It also has a great keyboard. It's pretty unusual for non-gaming laptops to have an RGB keyboard, but I love that this is an option. Of course, you can set it to a boring white or blue color, but it's nice for us folks that just want a bit more customization. The keys themselves are simply great. They're nice and thumpy, and they feel satisfying to type on. I can't really say anything else about it. I mean, it's just a great keyboard. The trackpad is also pretty good. I'm not sure if it's made of glass, but it does feel nice and sturdy. It also has a nice, satisfying click. But I found the clickiness to be a bit inconsistent across the pad. But it's definitely good enough for regular use. Its display is definitely its defining feature though. This 16:10 14-inch OLED display is more than enough for most people, be it for watching movies or just doing regular work. I do wish it had at least a 90Hz or a 120Hz refresh rate though. Sure, 60Hz is fine for 99% of people, but it just feels very last gen to me. But it redeems itself by having an awesome OLED panel. It's got vibrant colors, perfect blacks, and makes pretty much anything you watch on it look good. And while it gets very bright at 600 nits, it doesn't have any anti-reflective layer. So it acts more like a mirror if you have anything bright behind you. I mean, I actually had trouble filming this display because of how reflective it is. Its display hinge is decent, but it is nice and tight. It does wobble around a bit though, which can be annoying if you're a heavy typer. And it's a bit flimsy while it's closed. I don't know why they don't just have magnets in the display here. The speakers are pretty good. They're not amazing or anything, but they're definitely better than other laptops in this price range. Asus is getting really good at doing speakers. These speakers should be perfectly fine for just regular use. The microphone on this laptop is pretty good. I mean, Asus knows what they're doing in this regard. So this is a microphone audio test for the Asus Vivobook S14. Now let's see how this Intel chip performs in some benchmarks. In Cinebench R23, it performs pretty lackluster. The single core score is alright, but it didn't do too well in the multi-core test. In TimeSpy, it also did pretty meh overall. The CPU score is below average and the GPU score is, well, not good. But keep in mind, this laptop is not supposed to be a gaming beast or anything. It's supposed to be used for mostly school or work, so pretty basic stuff. This laptop should handle that just fine. But I do still want to see how it performs in some games. So here's some numbers. In Counter-Strike 2, it did pretty bad. It hovered around 40 FPS, which I guess is playable, but it's not ideal in any way. When I turned down the setting to the lowest, it got a lot better, but I still had some stutters along the way. In Rust, it also did pretty bad. Again, these frame rates are playable for most people, but I wouldn't really call them ideal. You can probably squeeze a bit more performance out of it by just turning down some settings or the resolution, but this is not a gaming laptop, folks. But it does handle some older games perfectly well. For example, it does really well in Minecraft, with an average of 120 FPS. And it easily handles classics like Counter-Strike Source or CS 1.6. I'm getting old. But this laptop's biggest promise is its battery life. Intel's new Ultra 200 CPUs are incredibly efficient, so they should be great for battery life. To test battery life, I left a YouTube video running with the display at 500 nits, with the silent performance mode, and with the keyboard backlight on. And it lasted over 13 hours, which is the longest I've ever seen for a Windows laptop. This is actually more than the M3 MacBook Air that I reviewed, which is just crazy. It isn't as much as the M4 Pro MacBook Pro 14 got, but it's crazy that it's even close. If you need a Windows laptop with good battery life, this is probably your best option. And since it doesn't use very much power, it doesn't get hot and it stays very quiet overall. It basically never went above 80 degrees Celsius, not even in the heaviest multi-core loads. And this is the absolute loudest that it ever got. If you're looking for a cool, quiet Windows laptop, this laptop's your guy. It really sucks in terms of upgradeability though. It only has one M.2 SSD slot, and that's pretty much it. On most laptops you can at least replace the Wi-Fi card, but on this guy you can't even do that. If you buy this laptop, make sure you get a high-spec model of it, because you're stuck with whatever you bought it with. The pricing for this laptop is definitely one of its strong points. The Intel Ultra 5 model can be found for around $800 and is frequently on sales that take that price even lower. The Ultra 7 model is quite a bit more expensive, but it does come with 32 GB of RAM. I feel like this cheaper model is a lot more worth it though, especially compared to the competition. So, conclusion time. Is the Vivobook S14 worth it? Absolutely. This laptop has outstanding battery life. I'm really glad Windows laptops are catching up to MacBooks in that regard. Yeah, sure, it doesn't have gaming laptop-like performance, but what do you expect out of such a thin body? It's very portable, it has a good keyboard, it has an OLED display, it stays very cool and quiet, and it's pretty well priced for all of that. If you're a student and you do pretty basic stuff on your laptop, or if you need it for work or anything, this is a good laptop, because it will easily last you all day and it handles everything just pretty well. But it certainly isn't alone in the 14-inch thin and light space. For example, the Zephyrus G14 is the same size but a lot more powerful. So which one is better? Well, let's compare them in the next video. I will see you all then. Bye bye.
Hello?
Блять, проебали. I play B with orange whole game now.